Hey everybody, Sarah here. So my video today is once again going to be about the Masked Dancer. Um, it's going to be spoilers, obviously. It's not going to be a very long video. It's going to be quite short, actually. Um, so if you haven't seen it, switch off now. If you don't want to know who was unmasked, there was two unmaskings. Um, I think it was going to be two anyway, and I read somewhere it was going to be three, because it was going to be the two original ones, and then because one of them got injured, then it turns out there was only two anyway. Well, technically it was three because one of the acts was a duo. So yeah. So Pillar and Post. Um, we knew was going to be a sports person because it says something to do with caps, so it could be a footballer or a rugby player. And two that have been mentioned was Ben Cohen and Christina, whatever his name is. The other one was David Seaman and his wife Frankie, and those are two that were mentioned like by the panel on there. And the other one I was thinking of was um, Kenny and Gabby Logan. Um, by like some point in the weekend just gone, some point I was like, it's going to be between David Seaman and his wife and Gabby Logan and her husband. Um, and it was Pillar and Post, one of them, well, it was Pillar that was injured, and they were David Seaman and his wife. Um, the other one, oh, tomato sauce got a mask as well, and that was Steph McGovern. Um, I can't even remember who I thought it was. I thought it was a chef, but I wasn't sure. Like it could have been anybody. I don't know. But yeah. As for the other ones, I still have no idea who the other ones are. One of them, for a moment, I thought was what name? Oh, Georgia Tennant. One of them, I think it was Odd Socks. Was it Odd Socks? I don't know why. Odd Socks, I thought was Georgia Tennant. I don't know why. But then when I was looking over the clues, I was like, I don't think it can be. One of them, I think it was Onomatopoeia. Jonathan Ross was like, I think that person, I know, oh, I think I know who the person is. He watched it with his kids, and that person is David Tennant. So I was like, really? I mean, the clues don't um, point towards that. I know, I don't know if it was that one or Odd Socks. There was mentions of sci-fi, which made me think Doctor Who, but I can't remember which of the two it was. Oh, but if one is David Tennant or Georgia Tennant, I will be surprised. The other ones, I'm still not sure about. Um, I'm still convinced. Lion, not Lion. What's it called? Not Lion King. Pearly King. It was a lion. I am pretty sure that is Danny Dyer. I mean, it was obvious at the start, too obvious at the start, but I don't know. Um, but the one I had no idea about to start with, but then after this week, I'm convinced it is her, is oh my god, what's her name? Hang on. I'm gonna Google it. I can't find the clues. That's annoying. Because there was a few bits in the clue thing. I was like, oh. I can't find it on this one. I'm just going to try and remember it. Alright. Funny Girl was mentioned. No, hang on. People have been saying it's somebody said Amanda Holden. Some said Kimberly Wyatt from Pussycat Dolls. Some have said Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. But where is it gone? Alright. They mentioned something about Funny Girl, which first made me think Lea Michele. But then I was like, Lea Michele's not tall. I don't know if she's shorter than me. And whoever is in that costume is tall-ish. And it was like described herself as a funny girl who had done their fair share of touring, but what hasn't always been front and center. Some of the clues are not pointing towards who I think it is. There's a bit on here where people saying who I think it is, and yeah, so there was a bit they mentioned. What was the first? There's something they mentioned before the other bit they said. I don't know if it was something about TV or no, it was music wasn't their first, their main thing or something. So that made me think, it's not music, it's gonna be like acting or something. And then they mentioned, I can't think this was before or after the other bit, but one of the things they mentioned was the I think they topped the charts however many times. And so I think knocked Elvis off the top. I think. I can't find the bit about Elvis, but yeah, something about. Hang on a minute. I think I might have found what I'm looking for. That's not a clue. Yeah, something about more number one, not more number one. Should I just see it? more chart entries or something when more chart hits than Elvis Presley. And for some reason, I was thinking Glee. I mean, I was kind of thinking that with the whole music wasn't the first thing. Because I mean, what TV show besides X Factor and all that do you go on TV and kind of get into the music thing as well? Um, and actually, I'm gonna say who I think it is just before I carry on, because I can read through it properly without having to work around the person. So I am convinced it is Heather Morris who played Britney S. Pierce in Glee. I'm convinced. It says here, fans have picked out a series of obscure clues, including the mammoth spotted on stage, said to be a nod to Heather's role in hit animated movie series Ice Age. I didn't know about that because I haven't seen it. Well, I probably have seen Ice Age, but I didn't realise she was voicing it. Scissors also claimed to have had more chart hits than music legend Elvis Presley, to which fans pointed out the Glee cast secured a greater number of chart entries, proving further evidence Heather is behind the mask. Elsewhere, Scissors used the phrase. This is what made me think. Like not alarm bells, but like the light bulb moment. Scissors used the phrase "new directions," and I mean, as soon as I heard new directions, I was like, "Hey, Glee." The name of the Glee club in the show, as well as referring to the president. Britney was class president on the hit musical show. Where's the other bit? I can't find it now. Unless I've seen it on another bit, anyway. Fans went even further into diving through Heather's calendar and commitments, and alleged US star was in the UK at the time of recording of the show. See, I read that and I was like, that has to be it, isn't it? They pointed out, but to be fair, when I think it was Viking in The Masked Singer, and I was convinced it was either Jerome Flynn or Nikolai Coster-Waldau, and I was convinced, well, Nikolai was over in the UK, but it wasn't him anyway. And they pointed out Heather was appearing in Liverpool at a special Glee convention event around the same time The Masked Dancer film, further highlighting her potential involvement in the Saturday night game show. Heather has past dance experience and previously performed as a backup dancer of Beyonce. People kept mentioning Beyonce as one of the things, not as like in the clues. They mentioned what's the name? Oh my god, it was the one I just said earlier. Kelly Rowland. So I am so convinced there's it. And yeah, what is the other thing? The other thing was, which I didn't even click, is when it said viewers were convinced it could be Glee's Heather Morris behind the mask, with one writing on Twitter, writing, Scissors might be Heather Morris. Her character wasn't the sharpest, and she toured as a dancer, did she not? Wasn't the sharpest. Scissors. If that's gonna, like, it has to be. But the thing is, I wanted to win it. Seeing her to win it, it's not even here now. Yeah, so I'm convinced. I'm convinced about Heather Morris. It's just funny how it was like when they mentioned the TV thing, or they mentioned it wasn't music to start off with, and I was thinking, well, Glee's that kind of program, and then I had New Directions. I was like, oh, hang on. Oh, and yeah, and the other bit, that's the other bit as well, is each of the contestants, each of the people in the mask could talk, say one word. I can't remember what the word was she said. Hang on. What was the word did? Oh, I can't find it. Okay, it doesn't say um what I'm looking for on there. But yeah, whatever word it was that person said, when she sounded American, and I was like, that does sound like Heather Morris. I mean, I follow Heather on Instagram, so I hear her talking on that often, and I was like, yeah, that has to be it. So, hmm. Wait, I have to wait and see. Yeah, so my next video will be up next week, and I'll see you then.